Sideline of goal. Blake Widow's doing it. They're gonna take. He's gonna bring down Birdie. Almost with a double kill. Dropping fast. Final points there. He's still alive. Wait, seconds left. He's got one time. He's got a second. He's taking it up. They're overdone on three. They're all dead.
Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. We've got the Summit 2 by G2A.com, and we've got the China Division. We've got some big ones coming up tonight. We've got 4 good ones, first of which, NewBee versus ViCi. Hot dog,
This
Cattle
is
Guy.
great. This is like a rematch, if you will, of TI4, at least as far as franchises go. Not the
Clash of
same
the Titans,
not
yeah.
the same rosters, obviously, but these two teams were at the end of it. Maybe not the most exciting finals that people would say as far as being a spectator, but we got a whole new patch.
I had a good
so
time.
I had a fantastic time. I'm just saying some people.
Some people.
Not
okay.
me.
Not
Some
us.
people.
Not Jesus. Yeah, not us.
But,
Well,
I mean, if you're looking at the draft here, which I'm sure you're going to cut over to, you kind of would think it was still 6.81.
yeah, you know what? And on that cue, let's just hop on in and see what
Yep,
these
there
guys
it
are
is.
doing. Oh God, Brewmaster, Death Prophet, Faceless Void.
Ay, ay, ay.
What patch are we on again, Cattle Guy?
It's supposed to be 6.82, but you got to remember that until those
10
new
seconds
heroes, those
remaining.
new meta heroes begin to shine, we're going to kind of stick with our with our
5
guns, what we're
seconds
familiar with,
remaining.
what we are warmed up and ready to use. And for
ViCi
ViCi Gaming,
Gaming's
they
turn to
grab up
ban.
the first pick and they're going to use it on the Brewmaster, favoring their mid lane potential, I would imagine. Second pick's going to be none other than the illustrious
NewBee's
Mirana. And on the side of
turn to
NewBee,
ban.
they get a hold of Death Prophet and Faceless Void, and surprisingly, they did not want to opt to get a hold of maybe Skywrath Mage. Witch Doctor's still in the pool if they want to go with some sort of nice corny combo factor. But regardless, we'll see what progresses from here. No Horse God yet, so still the
10
what many would
seconds
consider the
remaining.
top-notch off-laner in the pool and available, and especially if someone like
5
Rabbit
seconds
gets a hold of
remaining.
him or the Bat Rider, he could do some serious work in that off lane, but they did already grab
Reserve
Faceless
time.
Void, so we'll have to see if they want to do with that or not.
Yeah, it's still kind of a toss-up. Could be their safe lane carry, could be the off-laner. Radiant side, always a bit ambiguous. A lot of those traditional off-laners still in the pool, though. The two that you mentioned, also Tidehunter still available. So we'll see what these players want to do as they take their time to this draft. But here's a fun one.
ViCi
The Space Cow, the
Gaming's
third
turn
band
to
coming out
ban.
from NewBee. Not a hero we've seen too much here in the eastern region of Dota, at least
Now,
I
I
haven't.
haven't been personally had the opportunity
That's
to
a
watch
good
too
point.
much of the
Go Black's basically the only person I've seen running the Space Cow on the
Yeah.
reg, at least. That's been his kind of bread.
we had
and
been
butter.
doing the
10
C
seconds
Dota. I was
remaining.
doing some of the America scene. We obviously they're not too fond of the
5 seconds
Spirit
remaining.
Breaker grab, but it looks like NewBee, you're feeling that this is something that ViCi might consider, or
Reserve
maybe they
time.
have a game plan in mind, and Spirit Breaker just could be the one thorn in their side that could just kind of blow
NewBee's
everything up for
turn
them.
to ban.
Yep, and whoa, Lion banned out by ViCi, so they'll take out 2 pretty potent
NewBee's
supports here,
turn to
old
pick.
Lichy and the Demon Witch. And there's NewBee with one of the classic setups for the Mirana, banning out the Shadow Demon, Disruption right into Sacred Arrow, one of those just classic duos that's pretty damn hard to deal with. Also, Shadow Demon's just a good hero. I think he's a little underloved right now. His defensive and offensive capabilities, he's got a good mix of skills.
Yeah, the defensive capabilities are what is crucial, especially when you already have a Faceless Void on the other team. So that would have been a nice grab for
10
ViCi Gaming,
seconds
not just because it
remaining.
works so nicely with Mirana, but because if he is caught in the outside of a Chronosphere, he can
ViCi
aid
Gaming's
anyone on the
turn
inside
to
very,
pick.
very nicely. But it looks like as we hustle on through the next
NewBee's
couple of picks,
turn to
ViCi
pick.
Gaming grab up the prized Visage, who already complements Mirana nicely. We'll see if a Drow is going to be potentially incoming, or maybe a Medusa could be their core carry
Yeah.
as well. Those two options seem to be going hand in hand with Visage as of recent. And on the side of NewBee, they get a hold of Rubik. And Rubik has great potential, of course, his telekinesis, and has great early aggressive behavior. Get this boy a smoke, and you got some serious pressure on that mid lane Brewmaster. And as far as
10
stealing
seconds
potential, it's
remaining.
reasonable. Of course, Primal Split is not that hard to get a hold of. I mean, the Brewmaster mana
5
pool
seconds
isn't too
remaining.
significant, so once he usually pops it out, you can quickly snag it up for yourself, and then we're going to have some bear-on-bear action.
And he's
Reserve
got that
time.
long cast point. I think that was one of those little nerfs there in 6.8c. Slightly longer cast point, so a little bit easier for the Grand Magus. I'm thinking NewBee may be angling for an Ancient Apparition pick here. Synergizes well with the Void and also Rubik, the telekinesis into Cold Feet. We've seen that combo quite frequently. And also AA is just popular out in the East. To reference SEA yesterday, man, we were seeing Frost Fingers felt like every game. So maybe NewBee will take heed on that front, but time will tell. ViCi have burned through all their bonus time, and Hard to say if it's a core Marana or a support, but I think she'll probably be a support. I'm feeling that Dro Visage this game, man.
Yeah, Dro Visage is definitely potential, and there it is, man.
Oh,
Nice
Frosty.
call. There he is. Hey, the
ViCi
Iceman
Gaming's
cometh, if you
turn
will,
to
as he will be the secondary support to pop up here for NewBee, and I couldn't agree more. The Chronosphere just sets up the perfect basketball hoop for Ancient Apparition to kind of shoot that three-pointer from downtown and get the nice catch, and then all of a sudden your whole,
There you go.
restoration
NewBee's
sustain is going to be
turn to
completely
ban.
nerfed, and there it is. You can't have peanut butter without jelly, they say, and it's going to be Drow and Visage hand in hand as you're pointing. Black is very, very familiar with the Drow Ranger. We saw him do big things throughout the recent ESL tournament,
Yep.
as well as any time before that.
10
Yeah, and this
seconds
duo is pretty much
remaining.
as powerful as ever. The split pushing is pretty immense. Any
5
time that ViCi
seconds
Gaming win a fight,
remaining.
they'll be able to punish pretty damn hard by chugging down those towers, using that aura on top of the Visage Birds, and
Reserve
we'll see what
time.
they do with this final pick. Maybe another pushing hero to make it even that much more potent. But boy, can that Visage be annoying. And if you can knock down those outer towers early on, you can just start chipping away at those tier 3s. And without a hero like a Treant Protector to heal
Yeah.
up the towers, it's just a non-stop siege into your base.
I'm curious to see now if NewBee are going to consider the idea of an aggressive tri-lane. Usually it's great to work on Drow. Drow doesn't work good when people are really in close quarters, so you can get someone who's a big gap closer, so you can really hop in there and get something done. So it's something always to
Gaming's
consider.
turn to ban.
I mean, it could very well be a lane set up with Faceless Void, or it could be this mystery 5th pick, who I imagine
Yeah.
is going to be their more core. If they do decide to run Faceless Void in that off lane, they're going to need someone to bring it in the late game and someone who can contest this Drow heavy hitting right click.
Yeah, I do
10
like the
seconds
clockwork against Dro
remaining.
Ranger. A great hero just to hop in from long range, jump on her, and it disables her
5
ultimate, get her stuck in the
seconds
power
remaining.
cogs, and that's where she struggles a little bit. Forces those supports to get early
NewBee's
force stabs.
turn to
And
pick.
Visage in this kind of a setup won't want to do that. He'll want to rush the Ag so we can get that extra bird out. And Marana, you don't normally see her rushing a force staff either. So
Yeah, and
Could be a
Centaur's
good
still
option.
in there. It's
Mhm.
it's quite surprising to see Centaur not banned or picked up
Yeah.
thus far. I
maybe
mean,
it'll be the choice for ViCi. Great synergy with the Dro. If somebody jumps on her,
Yeah.
Stampede, and she can create that gap.
yeah, and if he is put in a lane, let's say that's going to be a lane that potentially could be this mystery last
10
5th pick
seconds
plus
remaining.
Ancient Apparition plus Rubik, and it's got heavy right click. Weaver is someone that's
5
been popped
seconds
up that also
remaining.
can work nicely side by side with Ancient Apparition. It can be pretty elusive and hard to get a hold of, and they do
Reserve
have a fair
time.
amount of silence, but you're not going to be landing arrows that easily on a Weaver who loves to juke and jive. So that could be something that NewBee could be looking out for right here.
Mm-hmm. So, well, not too much
10
bonus time
seconds
left. We'll see how
remaining.
NewBee want to finish this off. And they grab a true offlaner in the Nature's Prophet.
ViCi
So
Gaming's
Furion for a bit of
turn
Rat
to pick.
Dota. And that means it will be a position 1 Void. Most likely farmed in the safe lane with DP in the mid. Very predictable lanes out of NewBee.
Not a lot of the playstyle like we saw last night. Last night they really loved that 4 Protect 1. They loved creating space and allowing their true core to really shine at about the 40-minute plus mark where they're going to be able to get 5, 6 slotted or what have you, but that doesn't seem to be the game plan thus far, at least for NewBee. I mean, their late game is a bit
10 seconds
iffy.
remaining.
Yeah, there's semi-cores there available. Faceless Void can definitely bring in some serious right click if he
5
does get a hold of like
seconds
your
remaining.
Mjolnirs, and then the Mask of Madness, the big right click's going to be there, and well, a Witch Doctor is going to be grabbed as the 5th and final grab here for ViCi Gaming as their final support, though that would mean that this is going to be a off-lane Marana, unless they do change it into an aggressive tri-lane.
Yeah, I imagine it will be Marana headed to the off lane. Unless they want to do some dual lanes here, that's always an option. But there you go. Ice.
Marana. I don't know last
Grabbing
time I've
the
seen
bottom,
I don't know,
yeah.
When's the last time we've seen Ice?
This is going to be fun. I like this. Nice change of pace. But talk about kill potential in the tri lane, though. Witch Doctor, Visage, and Dro Ranger. They are 2 greedier supports. Both kind of really come online when they find that level 6. So it is a minor cause for concern in the early stage of ViCi. But
Yep.
boy, do they have a lot of killing power with the slow from Dro, the silence, and all that extra damage to follow up. It's going to be pretty potent here.
The thing that could be a bit finicky is that Death
10
Prophet,
seconds
it doesn't
remaining.
seem like she's going to be having heavy harassment early on. It's not like
5
typically you're going to see
seconds
Visage or
remaining.
Witch Doctor really venture away from the lane that they're planted into. So that's a bit nerve-wracking for the mid lane matchup. It looks like we do have a couple of disconnects here, but not everyone disconnected, so hopefully they do get back into this one. But yeah, so she should have a relatively fair time in the mid lane, being able to build up and go straight for those phase boots, early makings of the Yules, get that race card build underway, and then look to kind of build up a little extra sustain, a little more durability for the long road, because they're going to have to get a hold of some serious towers to contest the heavy push that could come from the Drow and the Visage.
Now, it is also worth noting while we have a moment here that NewBee are playing with the stand-in. How is not with them today, unfortunately. They've got their coach, SYDM. He'll be their stand-in. He's tagged up as Mikasa, and, well, we'll see what hero he ends up grabbing. Not sure.
I don't know what that says.
Yeah, not sure what's going on here.
Let me pull out my little translating book right here. What's going on? Let's just hope that black helps us out or something with this one.
I mean, I don't know what the deal is. Like, if we need a remake, we can do that, but do need the details.
They want a massage? Nice. Hot chocolate massage all around to, all right, no problem. Sometimes you just got to get loose. This is a pretty serious game. It's the rematch of TI4, and you got to make sure that when you go into it, oh, nice.
Foot massage.
Oh,
the
a happy
foot
massage,
massage.
you know,
That's good.
The happy ending. Apparently that's what it's all about.
Tickling your feet. Well. Oh, my. Well, glad we've got some entertainment here as we wait for the players to reconnect. Well, it's different.
Oh boy, oh boy. Black's like, I have a membership card. I've already got 3 punches in. On my 5th one, I get a free.
the rewards card? Well, it looks like NewBee are starting to load in here, so that is the good news. But
all right, so Mikasa, their coach, you said.
yeah, SYDM is his.
Sometimes you got to get your hands dirty with these players. It's like, I guess I got to get in there and teach these kids how it's done.
Well, you know, at least it's a stand-in that knows the team well. You know, obviously works with them hands-on, and a very talented player also. So maybe not quite how, but still a good. Still good to have someone that's relatable. You know, sometimes you'll see a team with a stand-in they've never played with, and it's a little tricky for sure. So patience is a virtue here, folks. We'll certainly be patient to get in here. We do have 4 games coming up tonight.
Oh, yes. Why don't you tell us that schedule?
Yeah, after this, let's see, we'll have IG versus LGD directly following this match. Then we'll have about a 3 or a 2.5-ish hour break, depending on how long the IG LGD game lasts. And then we'll have a ViCi versus IG. And our final game of the day will be LAI versus ViCi. So 3 of the 4 games going to be ViCi gaming tonight. And that's pretty
great.
exciting.
ViCi gaming triple header.
Yeah, they've been looking strong recently.
Well, they've been pretty
so
busy. You know, they
pumped.
did have that show match yesterday, and we had to postpone some of their matches. And then, of course, we have a lot of tournaments happening at once. A lot of tournaments that they're also not participating in anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, they're still with us here at the summit. We're happy to oblige and get their games crammed in. Some of these teams have to really double up on some of their days and bring in the 3, 4, games.
Yeah. It's tricky business when you're a team like ViCi. That's part of the reason we've got the 2-game gap. Apparently there's some sort of a show match going on tonight that they'll be participating in. So, like you said, we're happy to work the schedule around them. And, well, we try to be flexible here at the Summit. You know, we do what we can to work with the players, make their lives as easy as possible. The managers as well. You know, it can be tricky with all these tournaments popping up. Some of them are a little more overzealous than others.
You're so nice with your words there. They're just being a little aggressive.
We do what we can, Dakota, you know?
Absolutely. I guess if we want to talk a more tactical approach right here.
Tactical analysis.
Who would you put your rares on? I mean, I don't know. Who's technically fair? This has got to be nearly split down the middle. Maybe some slight favoritism towards VG Gaming. Obviously, the coach having being
the stand-in is a big factor. I think on the bets, let's go ahead and take a look at what Dota 2 Lounge has to say. And ViCi Gaming the favorites here, 63% compared to the 37. So
I would say that's
certainly the fan favorites. I think that's somewhat appropriate. Based just merely on the heroes, I think the NewBee draft it's a lot more safe, very predictable. I think a lot easier to execute. You know, your Death Prophet presses R, your Void hits an OK chrono, and you've got your follow-up damage, kind of rinse and repeat, straightforward stuff. ViCi, they're the ones that have the maybe a little more power in their roster, but certainly a lot more difficult to execute. A hero like Witch Doctor, if he gets off a big ultimate, can turn a fight around. Same with Super on the Brewmaster. That's one of those great hero-player combinations. And Ice 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 on the Mirana, one of those heroes that, hey man, if you can land the arrows and set up big kills, you make it look easy, and if you can't connect for an arrow to save your life, then, well, things get a little more difficult. So
yeah, Singer in the offlane too, again, it's not something we see as of recent. More teams love to favor their more support Miranas, love to do a little bit of extra harassment in that mid lane, but you know, he's going to go ahead and just try to make something happen here, and imagine it's going to be the trifecta lineup between the Rubik, the Ancient Apparition, as well as their possibly what? Who's Faceless Void? Who else did they grab? It's boggling my mind here.
Nature's Prophet, son.
Prophet. That's interesting.
Antler Man. He's headed to the offlane.
So that does leave Faceless Void in the safe lane lineup.
Yeah, he's
that
going
could
to be their hard carry. So this will be one of those games where he'll be looking at maybe a Midas first, because he'll have assumedly free farm for the most part. Maybe look for the early Maelstrom, get some damage, get the fast mask.
So no like real stun lock. I mean, telekinesis is probably the most significant thing. If you could time it out nicely with the cold feet, which is definitely very much possible, you have some great synergy there. But then like a silence on your Death Prophet, Nature's Prophet has Sprout, and then maybe if he goes builds into an Orchid, that'd be nice to have. But on the other side, I feel like ViCi Gaming have a little more lockdown. Obviously, Arrow being a skill shot, kind of a stun. Visage with the birds, Cask, and the slow of Thunderclap is very nice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, ViCi have a little more control, and Mirana should be okay against this tri-lane. Even though the telekinesis is there, the leap kind of throws a wrench into the mix against that cold feet proc that we've been talking about. But once Void hits level 6, that's when the priestess on the Kitty's life will be a lot more challenging. And
I do want to make a note here, and this is something that people are going to be bringing up many a time and probably tweeting at us as well.
Sure.
Is that we are having, we're connecting to Perfect World Server here, which is always very finicky as it is. We'll be lucky if we can make it through all these games without seeing some sort of slideshow factor. So we'll just kind of pray out there, and hopefully I didn't just jinx us. But the other thing is that the in-game audio can be very, very robotic at times.
In the words of Merlini, it will probably be poopy.
Yes, it will be absolute shit ass at times. I mean, I won't be Merlini like nerf down talk. It's going to be crazy, but that's just our routing connection towards Perfect World Server. It's pretty much out of our hands. If there's something we can work out, if we get in contact with some of the higher-ups to make this a better and easier process, we'll definitely, make it work. But for now,
what are
it's
you
just
talking about.
I don't
Get
know.
in contact with the higher-ups? What does that mean?
I'm trying to put out that maybe
All right,
somehow.
let's get Valve on the phone. Yeah, Valve, these Perfect World servers, we're not connecting from the West Coast. We need something about...
It's bad. I mean... East Coast connections are a little more smoother, but for us over on the far other side, the west side, it's not good.
Yeah,
so,
it's rough. It's rough.
There's nothing we could do about it. Stop tweeting at us about it.
Well, it looks.
I mean, there's really just nothing I can do.
Yeah, he's making true statements here. There's
put the audio
of
the stream up, and then you can watch it.
You got to watch the stream. Sorry, folks, if you can't watch Twitch, lags in your region. Well, life is hard. Life is hard, and I apologize, but. Only so much we can do here. Looks like someone's having a fur bug. I'm not sure exactly what the fur bug is.
Yeah, that's he wanted a little bit of extra that massage time apparently. That happy ending was just. Well, there's a little bit extra tip for you.
Yeah, well, I'm digging on. I like this. The Scepter of the Grand Magus here. I always like to look at the cosmetics. Have the little cosmetic sword. See how's the Prophet looking. He's got some commons, solid commons here. Ooh, the Shroomlings. It's a mythical tree. Yeah, that's nice.
Can't have the Shroomlings without the Shroom cap, though. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, he's bucking the system here. He's rocking the horns of the Forest Lord. Well, Ice Man, he's got some pretty sick gear. Look at this hairdo. The heroic braids of the Moon Shadow. First blood. Rabbit of LGD Gaming scored first blood against Zhao 8. Look at that.
Oh, wow. He's repping the newbie head.
Yeah, NewBee versus LGD. Getting serious here, but oh boy, we're resumed. We're finally in this game, guy. Woo! It's going to be a fun night of Dota. 4 games, 4 good ones, and see if we can keep our heads above water here. Let's introduce some rosters. It looks like ViCi Gaming might be doing an aggro try coming out. We'll have Black on the position 1, Dro Ranger, FY. He'll be on the Witch Doctor. Not rocking the dreaded dreads, but we'll forgive him for that. We've got Ice on the Mirana. Looks like he'll be rotating his way up towards the safe lane to get things started. Super will be on the Brewmaster, and it'll be Fenrir here on the Visage.
And on your Radiant side, it's going to be the TI4 champions, NewBee, in this revenge kind of redemption matchup right now. Starting at the top, it's Sansheng supporting on his Ancient Apparition. Banana playing your support Rubik, and that leaves Rabbit to be your Faceless Void. And it looks like they might do an aggressive off lane right here. I'm liking it a lot. Mid lane, it's going to be picked up here by Moo, playing your Death Prophet, and that does leave their stand-in and coach, Mikasa, playing your Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, SYDM he's more properly known, but tagged up as Mikasa. Also a tag that Miracle uses. It's not Miracle, ladies and gentlemen. Miracle tags up with the same name, but it is 2 different people.
The battle begins.
Just throwing that out there. Ooh, the battle begins, says the pretty lady. And Faceless Void grabs the bounty rune to get things started. So aggro try on aggro try. ViCi Gaming, looks like, I wonder if they'll rotate. I think they wanted to go try on try. Both teams have the kind of two tri-lane heroes that I would coin kind of masters of the tri-lane. Your Ancient Apparition for the Chilling Touch, and your Visage for those early points in Soul Assumption. He shines where there's a lot of harassment back and forth, and oh no, Visage, he's going to get down an Observer Ward right next to the Sentry, right on the edge. He'll lose it, but from downtown, Arrow connects onto Banana. But the follow-up won't be there. 3 heroes for NewBee, and 2 on the side of ViCi means, hey, Rubik's going to be A-okay.
This is going to be an interesting lane to watch if they can time out that telekinesis into the cold feet if he does decide to pick it up. Right now he starts with the more proper Chilling Touch lead-off, but they can get some serious lockdown, and if that Chilling Touch is in the hands of everyone, Rabbit's going to be doing some pretty decent right-click as well. So they got to be a little more careful, especially more Fenrir. Ice will be able to benefit from a leap to potentially get away from any incoming danger, but for now they are controlling the lane and controlling the CS very nicely.
Yeah, yes, sir. So it's broken down into a 2-1-2 for ViCi Gaming. Mikasa certainly going to have his work cut out for him as FY getting a very aggressive, throwing out that cask, harassing him back as best he can, and just making some space for Black, who's basically in free farm heaven here. Him and the Void, blow for blow in terms of CS. And we'll see how this ends up working out for ViCi Gaming. It's not going to do too much for Ice. I'm a little surprised to see Fenrir up here. I guess it's just in case they man up on him. Maybe they can get some turnaround kills. But if he was down bottom, I think they certainly could find a kill or two on this Nature's Prophet, who did not go boots first.
No. And you'll see how long he wants to tough out his lane without getting too much here. He's actually getting harassed again, and they just keep it happening right now. The cast locks him in place, but the right click, he's going to be forced to pull the TP, but he can't get away. Darn you, stand in, coach! It's unfortunately going to be NewBee who hands over the first blood, and a quick snag right there for Black on your Drow Ranger. Doesn't get much better than that.
Absolutely. What a hero to get that bonus gold on. That'll be a nice 500 net worth change to get things started here. Bottom rune. Well, Prophet, he may find a bit of vengeance. Gets a double damage.
Yeah.
Goes in onto FY.
Oh, man.
One more lick will bring him down, but there's boots on the Witch Doctor, none on the Prophet. He won't be able to close the gap. And certainly harasses him back, but can't find that sweet, sweet vengeance he was hoping for. Black positioning himself well in the lane, will back up, and there was actually a smoke rotation from San, Shang, and Banana, and obviously it did not yield a kill.
So after they help Rabbit get up to level 3 right there, the 2 supports will venture down to the bottom lane to assist their Nature's Prophet, or at least assist a bit in that bottom, while Rabbit should be able to hold his own. You do see Witch Doctor get taken down right there. I imagine that's just kind of a quick bring back to base, get his resources up, as I imagine he didn't have any gold right there.
Yeah, Rabbit up top, getting initiated on here as the Grave Chill comes out, but still no Soul Assumption, so chance of a kill pretty damn low, and there's harassing Rabbit back so that he can't find that free farm. Now the 2 supports have left the lane. He's still getting some decent last hits, but they'll try to soften him up as much as possible, make him chew through that regeneration, and you'll see Ice in the jungle here, just kind of kiting him out of lane, and they'll be pretty happy with this. It'll be a full lane rotation as ViCi head up top, secure the farm for the Dro, and down bottom it'll now be an off-lane Witch Doctor, and with the boots, I guess he'll be able to hold his own. Not going to be so easy.
Certainly not. He's already going to be stuck over in the Rune neighborhood and has to shuffle all the way back towards that bottom lane. But look what it is, your typical old-fashioned Mirana lingering around the back here, looking to get the surprise arrow from behind. It flies on out. Will it catch it? Will not. It'll be a little too high right there. Moo will not be caught by that one, and Ice might have to take a long road around. Your courier actually goes right strutting down the mid lane. He's going to wait for it to come back, and Ice would love to get a hold of it, but they did see the arrow. They should know that he's there, but he moves right on in. He's going to get this. He's going to get it.
Are they going to upgrade it?
Oh,
just
last
in the nick
second.
of time.
Very, very nice. That was a bit too scary. They should have known that he was in the area, but luckily they do fly at the last second.
Maybe just baiting him out there, or maybe just getting a little sloppy and upgrading it at the very last second, but a little close for comfort, to say the least. Talking about this mid lane matchup, one we haven't commented on a hell of a lot, but it's dead even. 19 CS apiece, super. Bottle Crone to his heart's content, finds his level 5. Moo slightly ahead on the experience level here and picks up a bounty rune, so he'll find his level 6 first, but both sides farming pretty evenly. Another arrow from Ice 3 flying through, will be off the mark, and Moo will live once more.
Bottom lane, yeah, indeed. It's just for now a Witch Doctor off lane. He can't really contest too hard against Mikasa here on your Nature's Prophet, but looking to instead just soak up that solo XP and get that death ward. But hey, surprise, I see ya! Pulls out the Treants and wants to try to isolate him back over, but he could just take the back road to get away from any sort of oncoming aggression.
Yeah, now this is starting to work out very well for ViCi Gaming. They pulled this full lane rotation to get their supports and their draw up to the safe lane. Banana will go in onto Fenrir. Here's your teleport from Mikasa, but the silence flies through. Void only level 5, but doesn't even need the ultimate to find the kill. They'll be able to bring down the Visage. And before that, I was going to comment that the CS difference between the 2 position 1s is growing quite a bit with Black number 1, but Void going to find a kill there and now should have some space in the lane.
And quickly taking advantage of the solo XP on the bottom for the side of NewBee is going to be San Chang. Now it's going to be a support on support action down here, and they're both looking to get a hold of their level 6 very, very quickly. More so Ancient Apparition, so he can, attribute globally. But top lane, we're probably going to see another Tift right here.
And Banana taking some decent harassment. Ice 3 thinking about moving in to pick up a kill, but not going to have the opening, and he'll be harassed back. Still, it's Rabbit that's really come out on the tail end of these lane rotations, and sure, getting some farm on your Ancient Apparition will be great to find his level 6, but Faceless Void not getting that free farm does hurt a bit when you've got Black, who's just racking up the last hit. 1,600 gold on this Dro, who is soon to be level 6, and that's when she's got some pretty scary killing potential.
Mid lane, both of them level 6 now. Death Prophet not opting to use the ultimate early, figuring that it is pretty flimsy right off the start, so instead opts to level up the Witchcraft instead further. Super heads down bottom. He's very low on life, but he does have Primal Split to work with, and he quickly snags up that Bottle Rune. That does leave top lane. It's going to be Death Prophet, who does grab the DD.
Yeah, Ice just roaming around, hasn't been able to achieve too much, but did pick up a bottle this game. So with that change to the runes, of course, makes this build a little bit more viable, and we'll just be looking to try and set up kills and get an advantage for his comrades. So this laning phase has sort of been all over the place, where ViCi don't quite have a true offlaner. It's kind of been FY, kind of been Ice, although he's now turned into this roaming support. And Witch Doctor has been able to hold his own pretty decently. That one death was his deny into the neutrals to get that trip back to the well. So he's holding his own, and he'll find his level 6 pretty soon. So one of these supports that does benefit a lot from that early experience in farm. And with 13 last hits, we'll see what he wants to build into. Does go for some Observer wards now, but a decently timed Aghanim Scepter can be quite
Chrono
potent.
time, jump in on mid lane, they pull it out. Can they take down Super? And they will have a follow-up silence if needed, and he has no chance of getting out from that one. Good work from Rabbit to make advantage of his level 6, and they quickly take down the prize Brewmaster in the mid lane, and that just segues perfectly into Moo to pop out that ultimate, and they're going to start laying him some hefty damage on this mid-tier 1 tower, and quickly Fi has, or FY rather, has rotated towards the mid lane. I don't think anyone's ever called him Fi. Fi God goes to the mid lane and will look to put up a bit of defense. But
now he's in some trouble. The tower goes down, telekinesis forward right into Rabbit. He does have a time walk, jumps onto him, but the sustain is there from the Voodoo Restoration, and look at it go as that cask is bouncing around, super hungry for vengeance. No escape for Rabbit. He'll get slowed up by the Thunderclap. Boulder onto Banana, gets the kill on Void, and they'll find a double out of this. The fire burning him down. They use the tornado to stop him dead in his tracks as Rubik takes a tumble, and ViCi Gaming get a couple of cleanup kills. Still lose their tier 1 tower mid, but glancing at the graphs, things should jump back down into their favor.
Yeah, already heading towards the top. The rune's about to be popped right here. Moo's been waiting for it, protecting it out, and will be able to grab it. It's going to be a... the bounty rune was used. I saw 2 bounties. I'm like, wow, that's weird, but it is a haste rune grabbed up by Moo. Now they move on into the mid lane. A self-sprout here inside Super, who does not obviously have the Primal Split anymore. Followed it up with a Cold Feet and one more Crypt Swarm, and it's Moo who picks up the last hit right now, and they scout out Ice right here, looking to push on in. He's nursing the leap. We'll go to the high ground inside the trees. Can they get a hold of him? No, they cannot. He quickly TPs out and back home.
So another sweet pick there on the Brewmaster, who is losing some momentum. This is the time of the game when he's very vulnerable, does not want to get picked off, and 1,300 gold at 8.5 minutes means his Blink Dagger not looking so well timed. He's the big tempo controller for ViCi Gaming that's meant to create some space for this Dro Ranger, and he's going to struggle to do that. Meanwhile, Black, he's gone for the Hand of Midas onto the Brown Boot, so putting all of that early farm to good use. He is still the last hit leader, #1 on net worth, and it looks like that won't be changing in the very near future at least, as Void not going for that farming accelerator build. Power Treads, Aquila, Poor Man Shield will probably be looking just for a quick Mask of Madness to get involved in these fights.
Yeah, and we were talking about in the draft already how NewBee, their late game is not quite as significant as Drow's late game potential could be. So obviously NewBee are looking to take objectives and get the action rolling here, as you saw earlier in the mid lane. And that could be the next target top. There's your Chronosphere, catches off on Fenrir, and now he's going to start laying out the right clicks. No one looking to rotate just yet. And FY though, quickly going to show up, throws out the cast, gets out a nice little Maledict, and it's going to force Rabbit to double back right there. So a Chrono used to not really do a whole lot of damage. Ice Blast, boom, catches right there on FY. That Voodoo Restoration not really going to come out, and here comes Coach. Mikasa moves on in, pops out the little Mushroom Men, and they're going to try to come in from behind. Desperate Voodoo Restoration, but they are locked in the corner right now. One more right click, and Rabbit comes right back in, and he wants to get a hold of another, but it's actually Mikasa who ends up grabbing both.
Yeah, Witch Doctor goes down to the creeps, actually, but still a 2-for-0 up in the top lane. Both supports on the side of ViCi bite the bullet, and another nice bit of momentum going the way of NewBee. Another 1,000 gold as Moo rotates up top, has the Exorcism at the ready, some mana regeneration with that Void Stone, the beginning of the Yule's Scepter, no doubt. and they'll pressure this tier 1 tower top quite hard. They've
Dire's
got a glyph,
structures
they'll
are
use it.
fortified.
Glyph it or ticket, and,
Dire's top
well,
tower
they're
is
going to be
under
safe
attack.
from the sticklers that come to the towers, but not going to be able to defend this one. And we'll end up
Dire's
being
top
2-0 in the
tower
first
has
10
fallen.
minutes in terms of total tower count. Black farming away in the jungle, but with this early farming build in the Hand of Midas, they're just not really in fighting shape quite yet on the side of ViCi.
No, that's going to be Super. They're waiting on Super to get a hold of hopefully his Blink Dagger soon. He's about 2K. He's got about 250 gold more to go, and then he can look to try to be the game changer for VG and draw a lot more attention and bring some bigger impact as we approach the mid-game. That way they don't have too much focus on Black, trying to find Black and prevent him from farming, because it's very apparent he wants to go extra greed. But top lane, they could go for a pickoff here on move. They want it. Grave Chili pulls out the quick TP, and Ice desperately tries to leap on in to get a quick, face-to-face arrow, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah. A noble effort, but unfortunately the TP only goes so fast, and she will survive. Super has been able to farm up enough gold to grab his blink, and there it is. We'll pick it up right now, and that courier will fly on over to deliver. It's a derpy-looking courier. The Snaggletooth Jerry.
Snaggletooth Jerry?
Cutie, little cutie there.
They call me Snaggletooth Jerry. I'm bringing you your dagger.
What a courier. Oh, smoke rotation from ViCi Gaming. Ice, 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 and FY on the high ground. They'll find Moo. There's your Death Ward, and that should be a dead Death Prophet. Living up to her name. She'll bite the bullet. Now they'll look towards Banana in the mid lane. Everybody likes a banana for lunch. In comes the Moonlight Shadow, and it's going to be a quick 2-0 in the mid lane, but it will cost them as the tier 1 tower down bottom does take a spill.
I'm more of a breakfast banana kind of a guy, in my cereal. But, hey, to each their own. As right now, they get the quick grab on the 1 and the 2. Death Prophet did escape away in the top lane earlier, but with that very nice call to pull out the smoke gank, they get a hold of Moo and quickly shut her down. But that allows a little bit of an opportunity here on the bottom lane for the rest of NewBee to kind of make something happen. They do decide to pull back. Super, who has the blink and primal split ready to go, doesn't see the opportunity yet, needs a little more backup before he can make a jump in happen, but now using the clap to farm, I imagine he is going to wait a bit.
Yeah, has revealed the Blink Dagger now, so the jig is up on that front, and NewBee should be able to position themselves appropriately. Ice Blast flying through just falls short of connecting on Super. Rabbit does have the Chrono Spear at the ready, so could be looking for a jump onto the Brewmaster. Looks like a Necro Book will be the first item of choice for SYDM on the Nature's Prophet, so just going for more pushing power, and in comes Moo. Has the ultimate at the ready. There's your Primal Split as the blink in from the Panda, but Rabbit catches them all inside of the Chrono. Won't find anything else, but does kind of break up this team fight a little bit. Is now DP caught inside of the Cyclone. Will be Sansheng that goes down first, so the split still finds something. Moo hanging around, doing as much damage as he can, but now Ice, Ice, Ice on his way in. Leaps forward, doesn't have it to escape, stuck inside of the Sprout. Goes blow for blow, but it won't end in his favor, and that makes the trade a 1-for-1. The Exorcism about to end. Rubik's actually stolen the split here, and will do what he can to zone him out. Creates the space for the tower to go down. Faceless Void gets the last hit, and it is NewBee that'll get the better of this trade. A 1-for-1 plus a tier 2 tower, and that's a big steal on the Rubik.
You got to remember as well, Black is not getting too involved in some of these fights. Instead, he's trying to get more focus on getting his own job done. Though he does pick up the blink, his positioning is going to be that much more crucial, and hopefully he's looking to kind of play almost similar like a sniper when you want to find that pocket spot where you can really lay out the right clicks without putting too much attention on yourself. And next thing you know, your team is going to be withering away. He now heads towards the top lane, but the rest of NewBee, they move right into that Roche pit, and it's time to go ahead and battle with the big one, as it doesn't look like they're going to have too much contention.
Well, Witch Doctor is starting to move towards the pit here. We'll put a ward down up on the high ground, get a little bit of that vision in favor of ViCi. But, yeah, looks like they won't be able to contest. Mask of Madness now delivered to the Void, so he is in fighting shape. And, yeah, you've got ViCi, who are in it for the long haul with their Dro Ranger trying to farm up as much as she can, and NewBee, who are on the complete opposite side of the coin, looking to be aggressive, take the advantage early on, and now Void has a lot of solo kill potential. They'll smoke out of the Roche pit. It does get revealed as Moo gets a little too close to Ice, 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 and it will be revealed. And now it expires as they find FY on the high ground. The Vortex to get things started. There's the post-range Ice Blast. An easy kill on the Witch Doctor. The cask is still bouncing around. Stops Rabbit dead in his tracks, who is pressing forward, perhaps looking for a pick onto Black. But he shows off that Blink Dagger, and Dro will be a bit too elusive for him.
So Nature's Prophet had invested in the Necro Book. It's clear they want to just keep taking down these towers and having a big assault and a big push to prevent the farm radius that Drow's going to be able to take advantage of. And he does eat an arrow right here coming in from the north. Just a harassment arrow, no follow-up going to be there and available. Black is nearby, and there's your Moonlight Shadow. They do see it, though, as that little Treant has been riding onto Ice, Ice, Ice. So they see the Moonlight Shadow come out, and they're just going to pull back. But they do have a sentry right in the middle, so they might be able to bait a fight right here. Rabbit has the Chronosphere in his pocket, ready to go.
Yeah, they'll just move into the tower now. There isn't a glyph, so there's not much ViCi can do to actually hold this. In comes the Primal
Stolen
Split.
Moonlight Shadow.
Yeah, this is big for the Rubik. Is there detection on the side of the Dire? Nope, doesn't look like it. And
wow,
that'll
committed
make things
split.
easy.
That can't do anything because they can't see him. That quick snag from Banana. Very nice stuff.
Huge plays from the Rubik. The tower doesn't end up getting denied, but now Rabbit goes in right onto Fenrir. And Nikasa coming on in as well. There's your Chronosphere, kind of zoning him out, but the birds, they're on the opposite side of it. Rabbit taking a lot of damage. We'll just hop in to finish off the Visage. Now scoots to safety. Banana getting clicked hard by Black. He'll get slowed up, ends up going down. That'll be a 1-for-1 support for support trade. And NewBee looking for the proper opening to reinitiate this. They do have an Exorcism still standing on the Death Prophet. Arrow flying through, will be off the mark. And it looks like NewBee will be repelled for now.
And NewBee just get what they want pretty much out of it. The tower does end up falling. They pull back. They force Brew to pull out the split, and they'll just wait to fight on another day. Still feel like NewBee feeling pretty strong right now, and more pressure is going to be starting to build up here on Black, being able to bring out the heavy right clicks, that in conjunction with your Visage, and hopefully they'll find the opportunity to really open up and start taking some objectives themselves. Looking like they have not taken a tower yet. All Tier 1 still standing on the side of NewBee, so they have a lot of work ahead of them and a steep hill to climb to try to get themselves onto a matched level with NewBee right now.
Yeah, the general strategy of knocking down these towers early on is a bit of a gamble in this meta, especially on the recent patch where that gold income is completely quelled early on, but still 5,000 gold lead for NewBee. You also have the hero kill advantage, and that's paid some dividends for the Void. He's keeping up with the Drow Ranger, only 300 behind on net worth, and we'll be going into a Maelstrom coming up next once he gets enough gold for that Mithril Hammer. Meanwhile, Moo in the top lane, just doing what he can to this Tier 2 tower. We'll have Coach coming in, SYDM, making some of those little mushroom babies. And there is a glyph. It's used right away as ViCi looking to try and make a hold of sorts. Moo sidesteps the arrow, and Exorcism still online. He'll be all right. Meanwhile, off to the side, they catch Super. They'll bring down the Brewmaster. And now ViCi forced to turtle up in the base, as this will be the end of their outer towers here, Dakota.
This is a quick grab of a Tier 2. Moo is very confident. He has that Invis still bottled up, ready to go in case pressure does come his way. But now they take down the Brewmaster without him even using his Primal Split. They got to feel very confident right now, and it looks like they're going to quickly shift back towards the bottom. At least a couple of them, as Rabbit jumps down there. He's still had Chrono ready to go, and it looks like he's building towards that Maelstrom. So he's going to start having some fair right click coming on in, and it's going to be very nice because with a fair amount of ranged right click also coming out from your Death Prophet and Nature's Prophet, as well as Ancient Apparition, pretty much all of them, all ranged with the exception of Rabbit himself, they can really contribute a lot around that Chronosphere.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes this draft so strong, is they've got all this damage to dump into the Chrono and all the synergy around the Void. Still haven't really been able to do much on the side of ViCi in terms of these familiars with the Drow Ranger. Visage is trying to go for that fast Aghanim Scepter, has the point booster, 700 gold towards it, but still a bit far off the mark. Rubik, he steals familiars. Oh, that's just sloppiness coming out of Fenrir there. He really just needed to cast something right after that. Even if it's just a Grave Chill, you got to protect your birds. A huge steal for the Rubik, and generally one that Rubik's not going to find. So he'll have these mobile wards now, and he'll be quite happy with it.
Yeah, this is another great grab. Rubik's been doing a very nice job finding the right opportunity to use his ultimate and makes it benefit for his team. And now they're going to have those extra eyes in the skies to see and gain all that extra intel from ViCi and what their game plan might be, which right now they're smoked up, the 4 of them. And they're going to base their movement around Black, who's currently farming through their own jungle. Looks like they're migrating towards that top. Mikasa is there for now, but they want to start getting a hold of some structures. They need the extra gold income. There's a lot of it on the mat to just kind of get a hold of, but the big question is, can they do it? I mean, with the Faceless Void constantly being in the back lines, you can jump in, just kind of chrono the whole of your team. It's going to be a very tough time. You know, hopefully FY can find good positioning to stay on the outside, and he can get a very nice Death Ward off to help, but it's going to be hard. It's all about execution and proper placement for the side of ViCi Gaming.
Unfortunately for ViCi, it's going to be another wasted smoke here as they don't find the pickoff on the Nature's Prophet. Instead, he heads home, grabs his level 3 Necronomicon. That gives them some detection tools against the Moonlight Shadow. And another wasted smoke. Black still farming up a Storm, continuing to be number 1 on net worth. Now grabs a Yasha, so getting these valuable agility items, buffing up that precision aura as much as he can. But here's the wraparound. Super comes in. Moonlight Shadow's been deployed. Gets off the split straight away, but he's pretty isolated. Is there going to be any follow-up here? The Chronosphere comes out, and they'll just try to bring down the Pandas. Only the Earth Spirit left. and a lot of damage will come his way. Now the Exorcism's utilized. Banana taking heavy damage. Ancient Apparition's already fallen, and that'll be the end of their Rubik, but Visage does go down as well. Super manages to go back into Panda form, but now gets silenced. The Ghost will bring him down, and NewBee just playing clean house. It's a 2 for 2, but they trade their 2 supports for a core on the side of the Dire.
Black had been pushing in the mid lane, so he was not involved with that skirmish whatsoever, just trying to start taking the structure, brought down the half-life, but really couldn't get a whole lot done once he sees the momentum coming towards him. He quickly pulls back. He has a Yasha now reliable on hand, so big speedy right clicks coming out. Not too much damage, and in addition to already the buff he gets from his own aura, but Ice here, he's only benefiting from that aura as well. Aside from that, he really hasn't gotten a whole lot off. They can't set up a whole lot with his ultimate and these arrows. They're scouting for now, but he's not really getting a big connection to find that pick off. It seems that NewBee are doing a nice job moving as a group for the most part and just getting their own objectives, while ViCi Gaming seem to be more on the defense. Anytime they try to go and get something going for themselves, they end up on the back end of a not a great fight.
Yeah, unfortunate for the Rubik that he died there, losing that brilliant familiar steel that he had picked up, but now finds himself the Sacred Arrow, so another decent ability, at least gives him some fishing tools here, and see if he can catch any yummy bait with those arrows. How's Moo looking in terms of item progression? Going for a Ghost Scepter as his next item, just so he has something to stand up to the face of the birds, as well as the Drow if she's laying in the right clicks. 3,100 gold.
That was a over-anticipated arrow, just really shooting it down below where Moo actually has. And he is going to quickly race car himself away from any incoming dangers. So an ultimate attempt, as they all have been now congregated down to this bottom lane. Maybe they'll turn it into some sort of push, but as they finally come together to try to make something happen, NewBee are just one step ahead, and they're constantly split pushing the top. Nature's Prophet, of course, with his global pressure, he's just now moving on in towards the base already of ViCi Gaming, and that's going to force some people to at least double back. For now, it's just going to be the birds, but they're constantly just spreading themselves thin, and they can't come together as a team and try to get some stuff done. Yeah, and even just that little bit of pressure Nature's Prophet put on the top lane will chip at this tier 3 tower. There's a siege creep in the back just laying into it, so no way to heal up the tower, so that little bit of damage will add up as this game continues on, and things get a little more difficult for ViCi. Black will soon have a Manta style, if that's the item route he wants to go for. Gets the silence here of the Death Prophet. I think it makes some pretty decent sense, but you'll see some Drows just going for that S and Y. Witch Doctor getting decently close to the Aghanim Scepter, 1,800 gold away, so 22 minutes in, FY actually finding some okay farm here, and as always, one of those Aghanims pickups that can change the status of a fight pretty damn easily. Yeah. Oh, arrow flies through, scouts out Rabbit, but won't connect. They'll be happy to get the tier 1 tower. Does get denied by the Void as he hops in. Drow Ranger blinks forward, looking for the initiation, but can't find it as the Void does time walk back. Very nice deny right there from Rabbit. Not going to hand anything over easy. And if they finally have the opportunity to take down a structure, they're going to be right there to contest it as much as possible, whether it's a fight breakout that they come out on top, or if they get a nice sweet deny like that and they pull back. And just kind of echo what you're talking about, where some of these heroes being able to pick up an Aghanim's to really change the pace of the game. Ancient Apparition is probably one of the best with an Aghanim's, but he's not going with an Aghanim's. He had to get a mechanism. So they wanted someone to at least bring that extra sustain in the fight, which is great and all. But typically Ancient Apparition is more of a distance player. He likes to, he does best when his Ice Blast is coming from afar. With the mechanisms, you want to make something happen. Here's a jump in the bottom, Ice. He's going to be dead meat right there. Nice quick grab. The Rabbit Faceless Void able to quickly snag that one. Sansheng just kind of secures the kill with that Ice Blast.
Yeah, I don't even think the Ice Blast connected. He went down way too fast as Rabbit's starting to hit pretty hard and decently fast, and Ice, well, he's just not so tanky. Has a Midas recipe already picked up, so looking to find some recovery farm with that, but not going to have it anytime soon. We'll have it kind of soon here. Now in the mid lane, Black kind of gets initiated on, but it's SYDM that takes the ultimate from FY as he TPs forward. That'll be enough to bring him down. Moo trying to chase down Black. Can the Ghost close the gap here? One more Crypt Swarm will be enough. It's a dead Drow Ranger. Now the split in the mid lane from the Panda. Banana will take the stone, but Sansheng is there, has himself the mech, will heal up his buddy, the Grand Magus, and now Banana, what's he going to be able to steal? Gets himself the cast, but goes down shortly after. Now the rest of the fight starting to press through. The Death Prophet trying to get back into the action as Sansheng in a bit of trouble. He'll go down, and now Rabbit joining the party. Still doesn't have the chrono, but he's got the right clicks. And Super, totally out of mana, will get left behind. One bash should be enough to lock him in place. Moo takes an arrow to the face as Ice creates the space that Super needs to live. Rabbit Does he have any vision here? He does not. Hops over the ravine, and looks like that'll be enough for the Brewmaster to
One
survive.
bash, two bash. Holy moly. Can he get away from this? He needs 5 more seconds, but bam! Coming in with the assist is your Nature's Prophet. That Wrath of Nature smacks her on the head, and she quickly goes down. And it does look like, Super, who had put himself up on the high ground, will be able to TP out from that one. But what a perfect opportunity now to open up on this Roche. They don't have the Exorcism quite available, but they can still be able to take it down with persistence and just right-click. But, also worth the note, Moo did grab that Soul Ring, which meant it was going to be a quick build into the Bloodstone grab, which always is a bit questionable to see, other Prophets build up into a Shivas, a Heart, something that can bring real meat on the bones. But I've also noticed from time to time, we saw yesterday, Prophets pick up a Bloodstone. If they even manage to get a reasonable amount of charges, more importantly, they're able to get back into the fight quicker. Their death timer getting dwindled down because for some of these games, the longer you're dead, it's the worst opportunity for the other team to come on back.
Yeah, and an item that grows in power based on how many charges you can get up. And NewBee obviously looking to take fights. They want to stay aggressive. This is when they want to try to seal the deal to some degree as Rabbit gets initiated on. Plenty of silences will lock him in place. That'll be the end of the Aegis before he even gets to do a hell of a lot with it. Now Super gets initiated on. The Necronomicon unit's helping out here quite a bit. But Rabbit, he gets stunned up. The Death Ward from the high ground enough to bring him down as soon as he comes right back up. It's a 1-for-1. The buyback from the Brewmaster. Fenrir TP's out, just barely makes it. They'll find the kill on the Nature's Prophet. Sansheng a little bit late with the mech. Now the split from the bot back Brewmaster. They'll bring down Frostfingers and Banana. He gets slowed up from Black. The split's there to secure the kill, and it's a disastrous fight for NewBee. ViCi Gaming trading a 1-for-4. Sure, they have to use a buyback, but a huge net worth swing in their favor.
That was huge. I mean, they find out where Rabbit is, they quickly take him down, and that allows a perfect opportunity to time out an arrow, lock him in place, and F-Way had a fantastic ward. But mid lane, they're not done yet. They want to go for Moo. Moo pops an Invis now, and they don't quite have the detection to scout him out, so he's going to quickly shift on over. But looking to come in from behind, Black jumps in, and now they're going to finally be able to take down this tier 1 structure. But man, oh man, they time it out very nicely. F-Way finds a fantastic spot for that Death Ward, and it just begins to unload, and they take down the Faceless Void before he can get anything off whatsoever.
Yeah, and now you see Black going just for these value agility items. Has the Eagle Song now, so this Aura doing a lot of work, and will of course move into the Butterfly. Ooh, Ice Blast on top of the damage from Moo. Not enough to force a Shatter, but showing Ice who's boss there. Here's your big item pickup. Aghanims on the Witch Doctor.
Yeah, this is big. If he keeps finding placements like we did in that previous fight, it's going to be that much more devastating. One of the heroes that can really, really benefit from an Aghanims. I mean, as long as he finds that perfect pocket, not even a BKB is going to matter a whole lot, though. Death Prophet did find him eventually. It took a little too long, but did get off the silence necessary to get it done. And we'll see if it ends up being the tide turner for this matchup. Because if they do take someone like your Death Prophet or like your Faceless Void out of the game, then they have the ripe opportunity to come right up. And that huge gold swing that came their way and XP swing that came their way from that previous fight allows Black to really begin to bring in some serious farm. He has an Eagle Song now. The right click is going to come in very dramatically, though he doesn't have a whole lot of life. Not even, 1,200 life to his name for now. If he finds the opportunity to really open up, if they have great positioning, it's going to be devastating for NewBee.
Yeah, definitely right. Following that fight, Fenrir now about 50 gold away from his Aghanims, so clearing out these Ice Ogres will be enough to get the huge item pickup there, get another bird on the field, and increase the potential Rat and Dota style coming out from ViCi Gaming. But the Butterfly from Black is an interesting choice here. Obviously, he's after the agility to try to buff up the birds, but a good item against the Faceless Void now, as the ultimate no longer disables evasion, which means he will need to go for an MKB, and an item he's pretty damn far away from. Will now complete his BKB, but no steps towards the Monkey King bar.
They see FY put down a ward, and they are on the hunt. They know where he is, quickly jumping on in his Rabbit. He does not need to even pull out the Chrono. He just drops a Maldic, and he's going to desperately try to get away, but Moonlight Shadow is saving him from now. They don't have detection in the area, and he walks on out. But not going to be so lucky is your Rubik, who falls promptly right behind. So NewBee can't get a hold of him, and ViCi come out on top. Meanwhile, pulling out the Primal Split. They're making a move on Sansheng, and he falls just as quick as ice melts. Just a nice grab for them right there. And
speaking of ice melting, top lane, Nature's Prophet and Rabbit will converge onto Ice, who is up to some trickery there, pushing in quite deep. So it will be a 1-for-2 around the map. ViCi Gaming obviously coming out ahead, and that Witch Doctor. I think NewBee would be well advised to get themselves some detection. Sure, they've got some on the Nature's Prophet, compliments of that Necronomicon, but now you'll see Sansheng grab some dust in that inventory and not going to get fooled again.
Moves, scouts out Fenrir here, and he's going to get the rotation from Coach. Mikasa moves on in. Nice Cyclone, obviously, is going to stop that TP, and they're looking to open on up. But now they see Black and Super converging. He's got to try to get out of here, and he does. Nice quick TP, but that leaves Moo all alone for now in this skirmish between a 4-on-1, and he's trying to put attention towards Super, but now he gets silenced up. That Death Ward does some serious damage, and he's forced to pull out the suicide of that Bloodstone. Man, ViCi Gaming crawling their way back into this one, but just as I say that, Rabbit jumps in, Soul Assumption flies out from the outside, and it's not going to be enough as Rabbit gets a sweet double kill on the back of that ultimate, but can he get out of here alive is another question. His fresh BKB is going to be popped, and now he's on the retreat with Sansheng nearby, trying to slow them down with the Ice Vortex. Arrow is not going to be there, but he does end up walking away.
Yeah, back on the backside there, the Rubik does not get out. He ends up going down, and Nature's Prophet will finish off the Visage. Looks like he caught some vision from around the map, was able to hit him with a Wrath of Nature. So, end of the day, well, team fight recap going to be a bit useless there, but NewBee getting the better of that exchange, and pretty chaotic fight, but Dro Ranger still stays standing. So, Black 4-1-5. He's been doing a pretty damn good job this game, and his farm is getting pretty scary. Like you mentioned, though, it's going to be all about initiation with that Faceless Void who can hop in with a BKB.
Yep.
All about positioning for Black, but so far so good as he's stayed on the back end of these fights and just been able to drop the hammer.
And he may not have a lot of life, but now with that Butterfly, it's going to be that much hard to hit him, and it doesn't look like NewBee are going to be able to bring together an MKB anytime soon, whether that's going to more than likely be on your Faceless Void or even your Nature's Prophet. It's going to be quite a ways off. I would imagine that could potentially be the next investment for Rabbit, if he wants to not complete his Mjolnir quite yet, because they're going to need some way to really bring the pain. Because you got to remember, Chronosphere no longer stops the evasion once he locks him down.
Yeah, he could end up going damage, though, as the Prophet seems to be looking towards a Scythe of Vice, and Hex still does disable evasion.
Yes,
so
that's true.
That Hex could be enough, but again, Initiation is the name of the game. If Void's the one to pick up the MKB, then he doesn't have to worry about it, can burn the Chrono just for the Dro Ranger, and that is basically a secured kill. Steal from the Rubik, not going to be the split that he was hoping for, and speak of the devil, in comes the Brewmaster, split right away into Banana, FY on the high ground, brings down the Rubik, now Moo taking some damage, but no, has his Ghost Scepter, buys himself some time, Boulder will fly through, Rabbit caught inside of the Tornado, and they want this Death Prophet, but the Brew about to go into Panda form. They'll go in onto Sansheng. He'll use his mech, buys himself a little bit of time, but not enough to survive. Now Rabbit hops over the tree line, goes right onto Black, finds the kill there. The cask is bouncing around, but not enough to turn things around. Rabbit drops the Chrono on 2, finds the kill on Ice 3 and Fenrir. Moo gonna go down right after using the Exorcism, and both sides getting close to cleaned up, and now we see a buyback from the Dro Ranger. Black able to get back into the fight, laying into Rabbit, tries to TP out, but yeah, not gonna happen as he gets scattered out in the tree line, and it is ViCi Gaming that will come out ahead in that chaotic fight. Kind of. Net worth barely goes the way of NewBee, but ViCi do clean it up, and checking out Roche, but obviously won't be there.
Yeah, Black moved on through. He tried to find a good spot, but Nature's Prophet made a fantastic TP location. I caught him right from behind and was able to really right-click him down, and Black really didn't have much of an answer. But with the buyback, he was able to come back into the fray. He does manage to pick up a kill at the back end of it, so it almost makes it well worth the buyback. And, well, for ViCi Gaming, it's not looking so much as dramatic as it was before. As they start to creep back into this one, it's not like they've been breaking high ground on the side of NewBee. Even if they are able to slightly come out on top and maybe some of these tiffs, it's not enough for them really to push on forward. And Nature's Prophet's getting more busy, getting caught up and involving himself in some of these fights than really split pushing. So I think VG are really holding themselves very, very nicely. And as it goes on, Morana's going to be one of those heroes that can also scale well. He did invest in that Midas, so the farm is going to continue to come on in here. He had a glove there in his stash briefly. It looks like he might have thrown together a Maelstrom potentially. No, he sold it out right there at the back end, and maybe going to invest in something else instead. But also picked up a medallion here that's going to help take down Roche a lot quicker, and obviously the minus armor certainly helps in some of these fights.
Yeah, I say Slice just moving into a pretty standard, well-rounded Morana build, tanking up a little bit with the power treads and the drum up endurance, and with one or two more core items, even just simple stuff like a Crystallis and a Maelstrom. That damage does add up and allows ViCi to be a bit more scary as they continue to turtle this game up. All tied up 24-24 at the 34-minute mark. NewBee holding on to a small golden experience lead, about 3,000 gold, 1,200 experience, but far from closing this one out as the Dro now slowed down a bit. That buyback did cost Black a fair amount. No longer number one on net worth. It is the Nature's Prophet who's taken over that seat. He's completed his Scythe of Ice, so Black no longer totally safe with that Butterfly, and if he gets hexed up, he should be expecting to take a lot of damage as he's still pretty damn squishy, though. Does pick up the Ogre Club to help beef up just a bit.
Once he gets that BKB, it becomes that much harder now for a NewBee to get a hold of him. Obviously, going to be able to deter away from any sort of sheep. But meanwhile, mid lane, we see an engagement going to catch on out here. They're looking for Ice. They push on through. Crypt Swarm follow-up. A little bit of extra Nature's Global. That's able to help secure that one and make it look quite easy, as the Necrobook is also going to be called out, and they might move this whole crew into the Roche Pit, which he is up and available, and now it's a NewBee's time to really book it towards the big guy and get a hold of that precious Aegis.
Yeah, Yummy Cheese going to be out this time as well. It was a really fast Roche response, so this will work very nicely for NewBee. The perfect time to get a pick off, and Ice, he does not have enough for buyback. If he did, may consider it, as the Visage Familiar flies on in, scouts things out, and will give him that intel. Looks like ViCi want to try and contest this, but not going to be so easy, and they will just back up. There's even a Radiant Observer ward down. Gives maybe the intel they need, and this could be enough for them to take the team fight they need to break the base. It will be Aegis going the way of the Faceless Void, and Cheese is picked up by the Death Prophet, who all of a sudden has enough gold for that Shiva's Guard. Meanwhile, top lane, FY, he gets caught out, but just drops.
Oh, what a man. Oh!
Almost brings down Mikasa. The Visage Familiars will be there, and they make it a 1-for-1 with Visage getting that kill streak on the Prophet.
FY is just like, why not? Drops down the R ward, and makes it a better trade for them. They take down the king of the net worth there in Nature's Prophet, and that brings in a nice little pretty penny.
Yeah, Visage going to find some extra gold off that one, and yeah, I guess good news for ViCi, a support for the core offlaner there. But yeah, there's your Shivas on the DP, and what's Black moving into? Oh, right, his BKB, and he'll be pretty damn close to it. His Rabbit, Invisibility Rune on, Aegis at the ready, and a Chronosphere. Super's going to find himself in a sticky situation, and Ice Blast is going to come in. This will make it an easy kill.
Let's see if he can get the bash luck here. He might be able to get the split off at the last second. He will, so they can't go for it. He actually pulls out the split, but they do not engage. So the split's going to be for nothing, but same goes, obviously, for your Chronosphere, though Chronosphere has a much bigger cooldown, or much lower cooldown. I guess not much lower, like 20 seconds maybe difference, but
yeah,
you know, regardless, they got to try to make some use of it. So they head towards the mid lane. They cyclone up Death Prophet, but I'm not seeing a follow-up just yet.
Yeah, so pretty comparable cooldowns. Not a huge deal, but yeah, kind of a break even, and that's one issue with Void not having it. It's just a good MKB game in general, dealing with that Drunken Brawler as well as the evasion of the Dro. So that is one thing. It does make that item just a lot more efficient for Void with 3,900 gold, probably what he's pulling up for next. Moo uses the Exorcism, heads straight for the high ground. Ice is doing some split pushing right now in the top lane alongside the Familiar, so trying to get a tower for tower is ViCi, ready to make this hold. They know there's no primal split, so NewBee trying to capitalize best they can, and so far it's looking pretty solid. They get the tier 3 tower. Now FY gets initiated on with Moo in the front lines. Moonlight Shadow has been deployed. Death Prophet trying to back it on up, get some of that team support as Sansheng comes in and uses the mech to buy him some time. Mirana gets picked off on the side. There's your Death Ward coming in, but a silence onto FY will interrupt it. NewBee backs out, and they'll be pretty happy with that exchange. Mirana will actually buy back here. They want some recovery kills. Moo gets left behind, uses the Yules as the slow from Black flying through. Now BKB's used aplenty. Rabbit has the ultimate, cooling down, goes right onto Black. Does he blow the chrono? He sure does.
They take him down. He's down for good. He committed into that BKB, and now he's down for 100 seconds. This is going to be devastating for ViCi. They clean him on out. This is going to be an easy set of racks, and it forces out the buyback from Super, who now has Primal Split. Would love to make it happen, but he gets silenced and locked down here. Can they bring him down before he even gets the ultimate off? This would pretty much be the nail in the coffin. Last second, he gets it out, and he's got to desperately slow their roll from ending this one out and try to hope that Black is going to be able to get enough time to get back into this one. Focus fires Banana, the support Rubik, moves on in while Ice and company unload on Sansheng. Moose sweeps back on in, pops out the Shivas. Still no Exorcism obviously available. It does have the cheese to fall back on, because they are desperate to be able to capitalize on this opportunity while Black is down. That
split from the Panda literally keeping ViCi in this game right now. If he had died there without buyback, it would have been a completely different story, but hey, it's not over yet. Ice gets picked off. That's a dieback for him, and now they'll look towards the base. The buyback from the Nature's Prophet. ViCi are in big trouble. NewBee want to end this now. SYDM, old coach comes in with a Hex Stick that brings down the Visage. And now they look towards the barracks. It's just Super without an ultimate, and his options are limited. The glyph's already been used. Mid lane of barracks have been cleared up. Radiant's courier does get picked off, and it looks like that was the beginnings of an MKB, that second javelin here for the Void. Not the end of the world as Super goes back in. He's locked inside of the tree line, nowhere to go. FY can't even heal him up with the sustain of that Voodoo Restoration, takes a silence. The mega kill streak continues on, and ViCi on their last leg. It's time to put this lamb out of its misery, says NewBee. Out comes the cheese from Moo. FY doing everything he can. It's a full team wipe, and the GG is called.
Impressive stuff. Black was trying to find an opportunity to open up while they were sieging down that mid lane, but Exorcism, brother, just does so much damage and has such a great zoning capability with just Death Prophet alone. Real impressive play, and there was just no opportunity for the Drow to bring in the damage, and by the time they tried to chase him on the way out after they had taken down one set of racks, it was too late. Black tried to open up, popped his BKB, missed out his Gust there at the end, and that was the opportunity for Rabbit to jump on in, catch him with the Chrono, and since he had committed for the BKB, he had no buyback. So once he fell, it was more pressure on the rest of ViCi Gaming to try their hardest and damnedest to defend, and they did make him work a little bit for it, getting that split off at the last second, but ultimately it just was not enough. And by the time the Black was able to come back, his team was already down. Yeah,
noble effort from the Brew, and as we saw was that the beginning of that final team fight was that Void versus Brewmaster skirmish. Which is more valuable, the Chrono or the split? And I think we answered that question, and it's definitely that that split is just a bit more valuable. Without it, they couldn't hold, and that was the end of the game. That Rubik, man, Banana ending 0, 10, and 7. A score not really representative of the power he brought to that game, because boy, did he have some clutch steals.
That's fine. If you got to be selfless, you got to set things up, and you know he made a couple of big plays. That Moonlight Shadow Steal in the mid lane prevented a whole big engagement that could have gone dramatically in favor of ViCi Gaming, and it ended up more that they were just wasting the Primal Split. So it doesn't really matter. What's important is getting the W.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to have a quick break, guys, and then coming up next, we're going to have IG versus LGD. So another good one coming your way. I'm Ziori, that's Coddle Guy. Thanks for joining us for the Summit 2 China by G2A.com. Stick around, because we're coming right back.